Hey y'all, so I'm back for another Learn Your Tarot lesson. And I got these really cool cards today in the mail because I noticed that they started making tarot cards that actually have the basic meanings written on them. This is a classic Rider-Waite deck. And today we're going to be talking about the Magician, which is number 1 card, right after the Fool, which was our last lesson. So I never had a tool like these when I first started learning how to read cards. And I gotta admit, this is pretty cool. Like, they don't, new decks. Look at that. I can't shuffle these for the life of me. You gotta break them in, So I didn't have these. Like, these weren't an option. They don't have, obviously they're not very comprehensive. They're just like basic, the most basic meanings, but it does have a lot of information. For a basic tool for beginners, I think these are actually really cool. They were $7.99 on Amazon, and they came with this cute little bag, and it has a book in with it. It's pretty basic, but at the end of the book, they do have some example different kinds of spreads for your readings. Now, I generally do a 3-card spread. Sometimes I'll mix it up, but I generally do a 3-card spread. It works well for me. And sometimes if I need, I'll do a clarifying card at the end. But there are a lot of different spreads, and they have a few in the book. Also, the cards themselves actually have quite a bit of information on them. Like, it tells you the sign that they're associated with, which in the case of the Magician is the air sign. Although, we should talk about the imagery of the Magician, because even though it is associated with the air sign, as you can see here, there is a representation of each of the 4 suits of the Minor Arcana in this. So you've got the cups, you've got the swords, you've got the pentacle, and you've got the wands. And that's pretty cool. So the Magician card, and the upright meaning here, it has a basic meaning, which is action, creation, manifestation, power, self-confidence, clarity, willpower. When I think of the Magician, I think you have all the tools you'll need. The Magician is a special card near and dear to my heart because generally when I do readings, my spouse shows up as the Magician a lot in my readings. They're also an air sign, and the Magician card in a lot of ways does represent the kind of person that they are. So I get a little sweet spot about the Magician card. It's one of my favorite cards. But upright, let's see what it says here. It says action, creation, manifestation. That's the main key here with the Magician. You're magic. You can manifest things. You make them happen. But I think it's important to also notice that he's got, one hand up in the air, right? Reaching into the spiritual realm. He's got one arm stretched downward, and his feet are planted firmly in the ground with all the flowers and things blossoming around them. I think this is important too because it's also meant to understand that manifestation doesn't just come from the spiritual realm. When I practice magic, like if I do spell work or something like that, I don't think of it as just like, oh, okay, well, I did the spell, so now it's going to happen. No, you actually have to have your feet planted in the earth. You have to take the actual steps and procedures that it's going to take to manifest that. So yes, you rely somewhat on the magic of the universe and the goodwill and the intention and all of these things, but you're also relying on your own skills. And I think it's important here to understand that that's what the Magician is. He's a balance between, the magic and the work that it takes to make the magic happen, right? And so when you get the Magician in reverse, and I love how the reverse is printed on here upside down, so that if you pull the card in reverse, boom, you can just read right here. So what do they have here for reverse? Manipulation, poor planning, untapped talents, insecurity, lack of confidence, and narcissism. So the Magician upside down to me just means that something is out of whack here. Something is turned upside down. And that can be a couple of things. Okay. So that could be that you're not in touch with your spiritual self. So maybe there's some greed going on or some manipulations, trickery, you're maybe resorting to like not the best ways of getting the things that you want to happen. And to me, that indicates a sense of a loss of the spiritual sort of self, right? It also could mean that you've lost a little bit of the get your feet on the ground and get to work sense of it. Maybe you're waiting for the universe to do it for you or give you a sign or something like that. But you're out of balance between the earthly things that need to happen. So to me, this can also be an indication that you need to come up with a clear plan. Like you can't just wait for the magic to happen, right? You can manifest it. Magician card. That means your magic. It just means your magic's turned a little bit upside down. And another way that this can be is that if you are lacking the confidence that you need to know that you're capable of doing these things. The thing is, anytime you pull this card, whether it's right side up, upside down, to me, this indicates that you have all the tools at your disposal. Maybe if it's upside down, you're just not using those tools. Or you're not using them correctly. So the Magician card is a very cool card. It's honestly, like I said, one of my favorite in the deck. And I will be back next time when we will do the High Priestess. But I wanted to share this cool new deck that I got with y'all. I'm going to play around with these because I really want to see, I think these would have made my life a lot easier, like back when I was first learning tarot, especially because I don't have the greatest memory and I'm not off book yet, not fully. So, but doing these videos with y'all and teaching you what I do know is actually helpful for me to remember the things. So I will see y'all next time and we will get to the High Priestess. I love the Major Arcana. They're just so powerful. And in the different decks, even in the Rider-Waite, the classic deck, the images are striking. But in some of these other decks, that I have, oh my gosh, the Wild Unknown Tarot. It doesn't represent in the same way. Gosh, these cards are beautiful. If I were to get a spread that had all 3 Major Arcana cards, I would be like, whoa, the universe really wants you to take in this amazing message. This is a big message for you. Listen up. To me, the Major Arcana says the universe is speaking loudly, so you need to listen up. Just a quick grab out of some of these Major Arcana cards from this particular deck, which is the Wild Unknown Tarot. Here's the Fool, which we studied already. I love that it's just this bird hanging on this branch, just like about to take flight. The Sun, come on. That's just giving like star, exploding star. Okay, speaking of the star, beautiful. Oop, the Devil. I just love the art style of these. The Wheel of Fortune. I love the Bat, the Hanged Man. So good. And the Death card. Just sharing some of the Major Arcana cards with you out of this deck because this is one of my favorite decks. But yeah, so now you've learned the Fool and the Magician. You're on, you're at the beginning of your journey, which is also what the Fool and the Magician are both about. The Fool's ready to launch, right? We're ready to go through this Major Arcana. It's the Fool's journey. And the Magician's a lot about beginnings too, because it has a lot to do with manifestation. Make it happen, which means you're at the beginning of something, you're on the precipice, you're ready to go. So yeah, you're at the beginning. You're on step 2, card 1. Proud of you.